to start things off because I think we're running against time in terms of the weather. They're saying it's going to start raining by 7 o'clock, so let's make sure we're safely at the Unitarian Church before that happens. I want to thank you all for coming. This is a very stalwart group. I think some people got frightened away by the weather forecast more than the actual weather because right now it's actually for us pretty fine. Usually we're freezing out here. So we're not that sad with the wind and we just hope we can hold off the rain long enough to complete the march. Now the march is not, well, I was just explaining to someone that it's just up this street and then up Union to the Unitarian Society. So it's not an athletic march, it's a symbolic march. And there's a reason we do it. And we do the march in silence. And in a moment I will introduce Cora to have her tell you her wonderful poem that explains why we march in silence for victims who live in silence every day. So the purpose of the march is to remember that silence and to remember that we need to help break the silence if we're going to end domestic violence. And then our service at the Unitarian Society is to remember those that we've lost this year as a result of domestic violence. 26 deaths again this year, and we have an additional 12 people from our community that we've lost over the years that we recognize and remember every year. Because we have to remember that it does touch us. It touches our community, it touches our families, it touches our friends and loved ones. So that's why we march, that's why we gather at the Unitarian Church to remember those who have died as a result of domestic violence. 26 people is half the people that died in several seconds in Las Vegas. And it's 26 to 28 to 30 people a year, every single year. We have to stop this preventable form of violence. We know we can end it. We know it is up to us to remember to break the silence, to remember to reach out to someone who may be living in a threatening relationship. So I thank you all for being here. There's some wonderful signs here. I know that the group made the signs, and it's great to see we have the warning signs of abuse, we have what's healthy, what's unhealthy, and all of these things we can ponder as we march in silence. So I'm going to introduce now Cora Pierce, who, where did she disappear? Ah, okay. She's right behind me, who will do for you her poem about the March of Silence, which explains it far better than I could, why we do this march and how we remember the victims in this way. Cora.
Thank you, Pamela, and thank you, New Bedford, for allowing us to have this vigil. This is actually the 25th year that I'm sharing my poems of the March of Silence, and it was started because I'm a survivor, and I know what the system does to people. I know how the system can empower people, and we forget too often that there are those that don't believe they're worthy of being helped, and they feel that they've done something to deserve this. And so this is really why we march in silence, and it's not easy. You want to talk to people about the wind blowing or the weather or the latest thing in life, and you can't, because you have to remember that there are people living in fear and silence every day in this city and in our country and in our planet. So for them, I wrote this poem called Walk in My Shoes. Victims' rights. Does anybody hear us? We appear in courts day after day. Oh, I'm going to read you the wrong poem. Never mind. Hold on. Wrong poem. Wrong place.
That's for later.
That's for later. The March of Silence. Have you heard the footsteps of the March of Silence? Within our neighborhoods, behind closed doors, mothers and children tiptoe on eggshells, afraid to speak for fear, afraid to cry for fear, afraid to ask for help. Their silence is deafening to my ears. Can you hear the terrified woman's breath as her heart pounds in her thoughts? all the while trying to quiet her children so that their father won't hear them, as they blame themselves for his anger, for his drinking, for everything. Each time he hits them, he blames them for making him hate them. When there is another day, he promises not to do it again, if only they'll change. Will they ever forget what has happened? For all of the women and children who live in fear and silence, tonight we walk in your honor. We hear the pain in your whispers. We feel the ache in your soul, the betrayal, the shame. Please hear us. We believe in your future. We will be there for you when you are ready to walk out of the silence. You are not alone. We believe in you and in the journey you walk. Tonight, as we march in silence, we will listen to the echo of your silence, hearing your every word. Now let us begin the March of Silence.
Will some of our more experienced marchers lead the way?